Welcome, folks, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. However, today, I'm your host, Phil Moore, as you know, and Jim Fix, some people say. But with me, of course, is Sammy tonight. How are you, Sam?
Hi, I'm great. I'm a little sad.
Yeah, we were all sad about the news about Norm, and we were going to cover. I was thinking of covering this as part of the breakdown. We're doing something a little special tonight. We're something we don't do and haven't done for QF, which is a Norm kind of tribute show. It's on the fly. I just got as many clips as I could together really quickly, from different sources, and we just wanted to celebrate Norm being how funny he was. And did you hear the show last night in real time? Because I don't know if you get the show anymore.
I didn't hear the show. I've been way too busy.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, how did you feel when you heard the news?
I woke up and I found the news. I woke up early accidentally. It was like 7:30 a.m. Normally I get my alarm set for 8 and something, and then I just checked and someone posted for Norm, and I go, you got to be fucking kidding me. Someone tell me this is some kind of joke. And because I'd never heard anything about his cancer, he kept it very private. And it was and that would be like him, because he never thought of he wasn't a public person like that. Anytime he'd go on Stern and Stern would ask him, who you banging, he'd never answer. So he wanted certain things kept public, and he didn't like the public pity. He didn't want pity, and he just wanted people to focus on his comedy, which is really admirable. And when I heard it, it didn't hit me as hard as Ramus or Rickles when they passed, but it was a gut punch for sure.
That was a gut punch. I was totally gut punched. I had no idea I was sick. I got to be honest, I thought he didn't look that great the last few years. I definitely noticed something about his skin coloring, and something about his appearance to me was a little like, but then I was like, it's the life of a comedian. He is getting older. You know, he didn't live exactly the most healthy lifestyle. So I was like, But yeah. I didn't think he was suffering of cancer.
Yeah, the thing is, he was a pretty regular heavy smoker. So my guess is prostate cancer. I mean, if you don't deal with that shit, and there were appearances on certain shows where he looked really puffy, which probably some effect of steroids or something, and steroid treatment maybe for healing, who knows. I'm sure he had a fucking hellacious go of it, but to go for 9 years fighting cancer, and then unfortunately that's what happens sometimes. And so our regards to his family and his son, of course, and his extended family and friends. I was the first person I thought of was Artie, and then I thought Saget, because I know they were so fucking close to him, and especially Bob Saget, who's probably just gutted as shit. So this one goes out to you too, Bob.
For sure.
Yeah. So what we decided, guys, instead, we don't know how entertaining this is going to be, actually, but we thought for a change, because normally we just shit on Howard, right? Or we shit on Beth, or we shit on Ralph and certain assholes about the show.
Too.
And there might be a little of that here, but we're just going to celebrate some of Norm's best bits and laugh at them. And maybe you get a stupid laugh, too. So if you don't like it, this is not regularly scheduled programming, so bear with us. I'm going to first go with some stuff he did on WTF with Marin. Mm-hmm. And it's just early days of what he was doing. So this is how he got the SNL news gig.
This was actually with Weekend Update. They wanted me to do Weekend Update with a lady.
Yeah.
Like two of us. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that sounds like shit. I don't want to that sounds like shit. I'm like, if there's a lady and a dude, like, what are we making fun of local news? What the fuck is that? No. Like,
his affectation, if something about his delivery always makes you laugh. He just says casual, like, I don't give a fuck. It sounds like he never gives a fuck.
And he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't sound like it. He genuinely does it.
And then he just kind of shits all over everything.
He had some crazy, he goes like, I think he liked me because I didn't understand what he was talking about. And he goes like, you'll be Fred Astaire and she'll be Ginger. You'll give her the sex. It's a comedy and she'll give you the sex. And I was like, the dancers? What? And I didn't know what he was fucking talking about. Yeah. So anyways, I go, I don't want to fucking do it with a lady. Let Franken do it.
Yeah.
So
Franken was going to do it?
Yeah, it was Frank and me or somebody else. So I didn't care that much about it. So because I could just do stand up.
so Steve Martin's in there, and then Lorne goes to Steve Martin because he was talking about Lorne Michaels giving him these shitty ideas what he should do.
But anyways, what happened was funny. Like Steve Martin walked in because he was hosting.
Yeah.
And Lauren, to embarrass me, went, let's see what Steve thinks about it. And Steve Martin doesn't give a fuck about anything. So, but he goes, Norm wants to with the lady, and what he thinks. And he does this big long spiel, and Steve Martin's completely uninterested.
Been dragged into something he wanted no part.
I used to love when Norm would talk about other comics as well because he has such great insight. That was the key with with a good storyteller. And him and Artie together, we're going to play segments of a wrap-up show they did together. It's just fantastic.
Well, I was listening to Jimmy Dore. He did a little tribute to Norm on his podcast. And he was saying Norm had a high IQ and Norm was a lot smarter than a lot of other comics. So this is why across the board he was respected.
Yes.
You will find very few comics to say bad things about Norm Macdonald. So Steve Martin is not going to give a shit. And Lorne Michaels, yeah, okay, you could say what you want about him, but some comics you're just not going to get your way with. Maybe he got away with, sandbagging him over the OJ shit, but not this one. This one.
And if people will remember, he was on Last Comic Standing as a judge with Roseanne Barr at one point. And there was a kid that went up and did a Harry Potter joke about, I can't remember the exact. A Bible, yeah.
So the kid went up and he was doing a joke. He was getting harassed by somebody about reading the good book, about you need to be saved by Christ. And he was saying saying a Matthew's verse in front of him on a train, and he goes, well, you can read my book, and he read him a Harry Potter verse, and Roseanne said, oh, that's very clever. And Norm was like, actually, that if you know who J.K. Rowling is, she's a devout Christian, and it's actually not that very cool or clever to be atheist these days at all.
But no, he kind of said like it was a hacky joke.
No, he did. He's like, no, he said it's not that. It's not. It's not that many people. Most people aren't that into religion that much anymore. If you haven't noticed,
in his own way, quite religious. Norm Macdonald. He was a bit. It's an odd mix of comedy and how he vacillated between his jokes and religion, but he did believe in God. I'm pretty sure.
He was an avid reader.
Yeah, absolutely.
But luckily, he fucking just said out of the blue, he goes, oh, fuck. He goes, I did this award show with some broad, and they paired me up with her, and she fucked everything up. Like, I guess they stuck him as So then Lauren goes, oh, there's some support from an unexpected place.
And that's how you got the solo update?
Yeah, Steve Martin, because he was such a hero to Lauren.
You had a bad experience with an award show, and you get to run the solo on the update?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Isn't that great? Okay, so
and then he gets what he wants, and it was the best week. I mean, you can't get any better. I don't give a shit. There was nobody better.
No, like Chevy Chase only did a year, and he was okay. He was decent, but then Franken was all right. I never liked it when Jane Curtin did the news. It wasn't a woman thing. I just never thought she was that talented. She was more like a Phil Hartman type, very straight, the straight person in the sketches. Colin Quinn was okay.
Jane Curtin had her moments, but if you want to go overall, Norm Macdonald hit it out of the park almost every fucking weekend.
Yeah, him and Dennis Miller just set the bar too high, and I think, and even though Dennis Miller became a bit of a kook and a little too just self-absorbed in a way.
He became hoity-toity.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and then when he tried to host, was it ESPN or something? He tried to host a sports show or Monday Night Football, and he was awful. He was just really awful, and using a lot of 50-cent words that no one was going to give a fuck about. So this is more Norm talking about him, Sandler, Spade, Farley, and the years at SNL a little bit.
They hated Sandler and Farley.
You mean critics?
Critics, yeah. So it was pretty. Everybody was, it's dead, Saturday Night Dead, and all that shit. And so they came, and the guy had an agenda, obviously, and but he was very unfair. Like Sandler was very, very funny, and nobody's funnier than Farley. And then he presented it as if these guys were always doing shtick, and everyone was looking away embarrassed and everything like that. And I remember him laughing.
Yeah.
So it was very frustrating.
Fucking hatchet job, whatever. So and that was not uncommon back then.
Did you fucking?
And they made Farley. I never forget. It was on the cover of New York Magazine, and they had Farley do a photo shoot where he had a television on his head.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, but Farley's doing a big, crazy physical thing with this big TV on his head, and then they put it on the cover, and they said, "Is comedy dead?"
And how did he respond to that?
He wanted to go beat up the guy.
Oh, really?
You can't beat up people.
You can't beat up the reporter.
Yeah.
But he was really that angry.
He was he was more angry because they not for him, but because they attacked Sandler. Actually, he was very protective.
Well, that whole crew.
I thought that was sweet because he was explaining how tight they were, because they were all, with the exception of Farley, they were all stand-ups.
And it's just so interesting that how comedy has changed, because they were so interested in being funny versus whatever the hell is going on now.
Yeah, the mandate of tearing people apart.
Now it's like they are just looking for the clapter. I call it clapter. It's not for the laugh. They're looking for clapter.
No.
They're looking for the, you agree with me.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
Woo!
and as a result,
So
there might be and as a result, they're writing things that won't age well. I mean, that's why I love SCTV. They were recording stuff in post production, so they had to be more timely. They couldn't be they couldn't narrow themselves down to just shitting on Nixon or shitting on whoever it was. You know what I mean? So or Reagan. You know, this was the next bit of where he talks a little bit more about the SNL writing table and how they used to work.
Just can't remember. I can't imagine the cynicism approaching a sketch.
Exactly.
With you guys.
No, that's what we'd mostly do is we'd spend the first half of the night writing the sketch and the second half of the night crumpling it up, saying how shit it was.
Okay, so then he talks a little bit about what he calls the holy grail of jokes, and I've mentioned it on the show. So
I said the perfect joke would be if the punchline and the setup were almost identical.
Yeah.
And then I was saying, can we ever get a joke like that? That would be the coolest. And then we actually did get one joke that was pretty close to that, not perfect, but it was Lyle Lovett and Julia Roberts are getting a divorce, and people close to the couple say the reason is because he's Lyle Lovett and she's Julia Roberts. So it was pretty close. The setup and the punchline were pretty close to each other. I was happy with that one.
That was the Grail?
Yeah, that was the Grail.
I just love that one. That one is also obviously dated, but I mean, come on. And then he talks a little bit about what Artie told him about the William Shatner roast and just sort of standards in comedy and how there is a line like you can draw. So.
But I remember they were talking about the William Shatner roast. Artie told me this, that William Shatner's fucking wife had just drowned in a pool 3 months earlier, and they had to get all the comments together and go, look, no jokes about his wife drowning. And they were all like, fuck.
Yeah, what are we going to do now?
And I was like, what, did it even occur to you to fucking do that joke?
The guy's still wearing a black ribbon and his clothing is torn.
There was one joke that they I don't think I laughed harder. Sam Simon got on the show and they talked about jokes that never got through. Like they didn't even say it because they didn't use them because they said they were going to cut it anyway because it involved the wife. And the joke was something like William Shatner recently won an Emmy for Boston Legal, and I think it means a lot to him because when it fell into the pool, he dove in after it and retrieved it. Which is completely awful. So the other thing is I loved his appearances on Stern. There's so many. I think there's there must be a dozen over the years.
I did hear a great anecdote I just wanted to share. So Norm was very generous with his impressions. He wasn't a douchebag about it. So when I was listening to this one Jimmy Dore podcast, he opened for him for a show. and they would go back to I forgot which comics house, but they were all at a fire and they were getting stoned. And in the kitchen, Jimmy Dore's wife, her name's Steph.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Can you please do the Burt Reynolds impression for me?" And he just did it on the fly, like nothing. He's not one of those people that are like, he wasn't like, "Oh, I don't want to," or "Oh, I don't do that." He just did it, boom, on the fly. And and he said it just meant so much to them that, wow, he was just this great guy who it meant the world to them. They'll never forget it. He was just the sweetest person.
Yeah. Well, the one thing someone was asking privately, like, what do you think Howard's going to do? And I, you know, the usual thing when he does the eulogies, which I don't know if we're going to cover it or not. We probably will, but just right away, like while we're recording this, Norm is so beloved by just about everybody. I mean, his ex-wife might beg to differ, but who knows? And that if he took a sidewise swipe at him, like, you know, in death, I think Howard would have got so much fucking backlash that even he couldn't spin it. He could not do anything about it if he tried to shit on Norm, and it would get out.
Well, he did try to take a swipe at him at one point, and that tweet will live on in infamy. Oh,
when Robin clapped back at, you know, or he introduced us to Artie, which was a good thing. Apparently, he was sort of, you know, sort of passively saying, "Oh, it was you know, that was a positive," and then Robin said something like, "At the time." You know,
at the time,
meaning like, oh, he's gone, like he's not part of the show, so fuck him. Which I don't know where that was coming out.
Actually, Howard said it was a great fit, and she goes, "At the time, it was a good idea at the time."
Why did she feel the need to fucking shit on Artie? I don't understand.
I don't know, because she hasn't had her box fucked in like 20 years.
Okay, this next clip, guys, is from the Greg Fitzsimmons show, and I had to really work with this to make it sound good because that first early show sounded like complete ass. This, you know, Florentine's first shows on his iPhone were way better than Fitzsimmons. But either way, this one is about a gig he did at a mental hospital. He had to do how they got a better laugh than he did.
But what really happened is I was walking out. The guy was all mean to me because only like 30, 40 people showed up.
Yeah.
Which was very insulting because there was nothing else to do. So there was 40 criminally insane people in the audience. So I walk out, and I'm just walking towards the mic, and the guy yells out, "Nice shoes, faggot!" And that gets a laugh, so another guy chimes in. He goes, "Jerome's right. Them some faggot-ass shoes." All became about my shoes.
The audience gets the first laugh. Now you're in the hole.
You're right about that, yeah.
So
Jerome's right.
So, and this is a longer clip from the same episode. I don't remember which one because he did about 3 or 4 of Fitzsimmons shows, and I got them all. But this one, he talks a little bit about Howard's shitty sense of comedy. That's where we kind of, I guess, draw a line into Howard a little bit.
Oh, I agree.
Like you expect people just because they're great in their field to, you know, have good taste in other fields, but they sometimes don't.
Right.
Howard Stern, the funniest, greatest guy. Taste, just my opinion, you know,
in picking projects.
Yeah, and in comedy in general.
And I'm picking stylists.
Just about everything.
Picking wigs.
Well, it's funny because this is what always kind of I didn't quite understand. I think it's mostly we'll have to chalk it up to, you know, like why guys like Norm is so smart. How could he be fooled by Wiggy? Well, it's because he's not an avid listener. He was a fan, but that didn't always mean he heard every episode and knows everything and remembers everything.
Maybe at the end of his, like, these last 9 years, I think he might have reconsidered. We just don't know. And I also think this goes right up there in picking beards, too.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? And like the Son of a Beach, you know what I mean? Son of a Beach is nowhere near as funny as Howard Stern show, you know?
Right.
But he thought it was funny, you know what I mean? And, but I don't know. You know, you never know with Howard if he's just playing to his audience or not, because he's so smart. And
yeah, that was okay. Guys, keep in mind this is maybe I'm gonna go 5 years ago. This episode, so
you know what? These Howard and Alec Baldwin have the same sort of
cachet
where they just fool people into thinking they're smart. I can't tell you how many people think Alec Baldwin is smart just by the way his speech pattern is, just by the way his inflection and his dialect is, and the way he presents himself, and the way he talks. But when you actually hear what he's saying on political talk shows or anything else, he's a fucking idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
He has no historical context to what he's saying. He's a fucking moron. Howard is the same. Howard's the same way.
Well, let's think of what was the guy, the head of the FCC, Michael something at the time, that exchange he gave.
Yeah.
We'll have to go through that one time. At any rate, he called him up, and he just got his ass handed to him so completely, because when they step out of the realm of, it's like a boxer trying to do, I don't know, fucking ballet, or it's like a fisherman who decides I'm going to be an MMA star. You just don't switch over and become instantly great at those things. And if you want to hear an example, Alec Baldwin, like inside the actor's studio, when he's talking about his job, his profession, he's fantastic, and he talks like he really knows his stuff, and he's a fan of movies and stuff. So pop culture, maybe he knows about. But yeah, he's not a political pundit. He shouldn't be taken seriously where that's concerned. Yep.
And that's how, because acting is bullshitting.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
You know what I mean? So of course he's going to be great at knowing how to bullshit. Yes, you're great at knowing how to step into a character and bullshit. Mm-hmm. And so is Howard. He's great at lying.
Yeah, I mean, any of Howard's rants about the Israel, like his pro-Israel stance, or which is bullshit, because he doesn't care about anything except himself. So it's kind of it's disingenuous to hear him support anything. So that's why we keep his politics out of this. But basically, when he takes a stand, you got to look between the lines. He's about himself and what he's feeling that day. It's nothing far-reaching. It doesn't really mean anything in the end. Fuck him.
Yeah, taking his stand, by the way, means absolutely nothing. He doesn't do anything.
No, he's got no backbone, so fuck him.
A lot of his audience isn't, know? And but I like him a lot more now. Some people complain about, but the things that he's taken from the show are the things I never liked. The lesbians, and riding the
Sibian.
Yeah, I never liked that stuff.
Yeah.
And guys would phone in, oh my God, I had to pull over the car and whack off. I'm like, from the radio? From listening to the radio? When there's like hardcore porn?
I gotta agree with Norm.
Yeah.
On your computer?
Right.
And I never understood. But one time I was with Stern, and so they live in this life of craziness where anything goes, but you don't. You're just a general person.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there. The first time I was ever there, he's interviewing me. Howard's like, Norm, you like this girl? Come on in, Mika or whatever her name was. So she rolls her chair in, and she could.
Okay, I'm gonna let it go, guys.
Bring her. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Oh, so she could bring herself to pledge. No, I'm not swearing. Bring herself to, I can't say certain things I'm squeamish about. But she could, bring herself to delight. Climax, exactly. Through these sexual gymnastics that involved her entire hand going up herself. So, anyway, she's like a foot from me,
Okay, hold on for a bit.
And she does it like she sticks her hand in herself. So I just automatically flinch, like my head goes away from it because I feel like I'm part of a crime or something. Like, this felt so wrong. And then Howard's like, you're a fag. Like, you know how I do these things? Like, I don't know if it was a trick. He got people to phone, but like a guy would phone in, and go like, I saw Norm in a fag bar last night. He's a big fag.
And this is where he perfectly nails the essence of the show.
And then
what
Howard
it used to
would
be
go,
like.
come on, he's not. You're not, right, Norm? You didn't go to the fag bar.
Yeah, that's always his move.
Well, now half the people think it anyway.
Right.
Like there's no getting
Yeah, he would always say, like, somebody would call in and say to, he has Angelina Jolie in as a guest, and a caller would call in and go, yeah, this is Tommy calling from Boston, and Angelina, do you take it in the ass? And then Howard would go, come on, Tommy, that's an unfair question. But Angelina, do you?
So
Angelina, do you take it in the ass?
exactly. So there's a whole he did so much on so many shows, and obviously like when we play some of these clips, even and especially on Fitzsimmons shows, because they're long form, usually about an hour and a bit, hour and change, and he would talk about anything. And this is him on Rickles, an experience he saw Rickles at Carnegie Hall, and this is what happened.
It was something like
Rickles. Rickles was Alan King was at Carnegie Hall. And there was Rickles and a couple of other comics, and Alan King was the MC. And then Rickles was going on along, he was the headliner. And then Alan King walked out like real slow and everything because he was going along, and he had him the keys. He goes, "Here's the keys to the place. Lock up when you're finished." So he leaves, and he gets a laugh, and then Rickles is just burning up. So
I fucking love the setup.
yeah, funny. He goes, "Come on out here, Alan." And I was like watching an alligator, He's like, "Come on out here, Alan." So Alan King comes out with all big puffed up chest and everything. He goes, "I got something for you," and he comes back and he gets one of the instruments. He goes, "It's an award. Here you go. It's for the 10,000th time that fucking joke's been told." But imagine trying to fuck with a Rickles.
I know.
So, excuse me. So I love shit like that. That's
my favorite.
That's when I love stories.
I love it. You love it. You and I love that shit.
Oh God, yeah, that's the best. So there's Norman already in the wrap-up show. We're talking about Gilbert. I just want to tie this into him like praising other people. Actually,
my cheeks hurt.
They did a show with Gilbert. This is already in him talking about it.
that was like we worked with Gilbert. We did stand up with Gilbert, and he was just like bombing. So at the end, he goes, "All right," they're all like 22-year-old kids who don't understand. And at the end, he goes, "Okay, you kids are clearly young, and I'm gonna do an impression that you'll all you kids you'll really appreciate it. Here's Lou Costello. Here's Lou Costello talking to Ethelman."
Like it helps. If you don't even have to have seen a fucking Abbott and Costello film just to know that it's fucking old shit. But if it so helps if you do. And that the idea, the concept of these fucking 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Oh God, so great.
Anyway, so let's play another one. This is from the actual Stern show, because he got tagged as a bit of a misogynist, and there's a great compilation of him talking shit about female comics. And this is from the Stern show, and one of the ex-SNLers talked shit about him on Fitzsimmons' show. So Laura Keitlinger was her name.
Kind of my guide through SNL, and it turned out that he is a shit stirrer.
He's just busy pissing in a bucket in front of people.
Well, no, he loves to pit people against each other. He used to find articles where somebody said one thing, and then he'd stand in the doorway and laugh. Like he'd find an article where Janine said something about Adam, and just create all this havoc. So it's funny that you said that, because he's probably one of the few people I really don't like.
So Stern played this on the show and played it to Norm, and he got a chance to rebut.
Yeah. Norm is someone who really sticks out.
Well,
to you.
because it was such a kind of a vulnerable time, being because it was the first time I'd ever done live TV and stuff, and he really, and for all of us, really kind of made it difficult.
Wow. I've never heard that about. Everyone loves Norm Macdonald.
I barely remember Laura from the show,
right,
except for her hit characters, obviously.
When he would get sarcastic, it was the fucking best.
I have, as a woman, this mentality of I guess maybe because I grew up with a bunch of boy cousins.
Mhm.
You sink or swim.
When you were growing up, you loved Joan Rivers.
Yes.
Now, what's the ultimate expression of a female comic succeeding in spite of having absolutely no advantage? She's the only woman, one of the few women doing stand-up at a time when it's completely unacceptable for a woman to be doing body stuff, and she gets on Carson. She's self-made, and she might have had some joke writers, but mostly she wrote her own shit, as far as I know. It doesn't surprise me that you're such a fan of Rivers.
Well, that's exactly it. That's exactly why. Like, there are so many examples of people who had so many harder experiences in life who are so much more successful. And I kind of think the climate of things that are harder, in events that are harder in your life, that make you stronger, that push you back and make you better for it. And that's good. That's a good thing. If you have an environment that doesn't make you fight or push back or have any pushback or think, you are not going to be better for it. You are going to be just swimming in your own bubble all the time, and it doesn't make you think. And it's good to have opposition. It's good to have it.
Well, it occurs to me because you mentioned before how you grew up with basically a very male-dominated household or combined households when you got together with your cousins. I mean,
and strong women.
It's you and your sister, did she have as fine-tuned sense of comedy as you and your dad?
Probably not. But
no?
You know what? No, she did not. She didn't. But she's still a strong person. She just didn't have that finely tuned comedy sense as us. Not at all.
I don't even know who she is.
But
she's very
she
talented.
makes more Weena Banks look like Gilda Radner. But no. But I do remember that specific thing she's talking about, because Janine used to go to the press and badmouth the show.
Janine Garofalo.
Janine Garofalo used to badmouth the show. She was on the press. So I go, hey, Adam, what the fuck is this? Like, Janine's saying your shit and stuff like that.
And what's wrong with
creating conflict?
I think you probably upset you. I mean, here you are a cast member.
I think that's me creating conflict.
That's Janine creating conflict.
Also, Adam was a friend.
By reading the paper.
And by the way, Howard's the one creating the conflict right now.
Yeah. Well, he's actually he needs to bring it up for the sake of it because it's good copy. She actually dated Jack Black, I believe. Jack Black talked about it when he came in one time. I didn't. The only other time I've seen her do anything was in an episode of Dinner for Five, and she was so spectacularly unfunny. I couldn't believe she was a comedian, much less a comedy writer.
Yours. Adam was my friend.
Right,
listen, I didn't hang around with the ladies on the show, for God's sake. In the first place.
You didn't. What were you going to get off them?
Yeah, I mean,
isn't it weird?
They're alleged comedy, although I like Tina Fey,
You had a look of surprise on your face, even when this woman said, well, Norm was supposed to be my guide through Saturday Night Live.
Guide?
Did anyone inform you that you were her guide?
No.
There was no such mentoring program at Saturday Night Live, was it?
No, she came in directly after me, so I wouldn't be...
Okay, here we go, guys, a little bit more.
Her
mentor?
Yeah, I'm not going to guide any lady through comedy. That would take me, first of all, I'd have to figure out how a lady could do comedy. And then I'd have to...
Wow.
Jesus.
I mean, that's bad. But I know he's kidding. And I also think, too, like I said, look at the pioneers like Rivers.
Yeah, Toady Fields.
You know what I mean?
There's shitloads. I mean, Moms Mabley was a fucking pioneer, no, without question. But LaWanda Page as well. I mean, there's so many people that paved the way that they did not have this fucking. They're not going to disintegrate because someone said women aren't funny, and certainly not because Norm said it or whatever. He carries some kind of weight. Because if you
B. Arthur.
Yeah, I love B. Arthur. If you have confidence in yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody says. That's the truth. It might be considered stupidity. You're just, I don't retain anything. Fine, but most of the time, you go, stay your path. You think you're doing good work. Well, I mean, we're talking strictly stand-up, not comic actresses, but yeah.
It's just crazy to me that, and I also think, maybe there's this vibe of like, oh, the women have to stick together and then the boys. Well, or you could just be cool and hang.
I was just thinking, because they had that Viagra thing out.
Yeah.
And the other day, Bob Dole came right out and said
he was one of the first.
Yeah. And, you don't want to hear about Bob Dole's cock, I mean, President Clinton's cock, Bob Dole's cock, what the hell? But mostly, an old man like that, you don't want him to have a super hard cock. You know what I mean? Why? Because an old man, you want him to be got a pipe going, a newspaper, the dog.
This is, by the way,
great.
This is post SNL, so he's doing dirty work. He's doing, Screwed, all these, and then before the Norm show. So he's got loads of free time, and he's also doing the rounds. And Dennis Miller's show was cable, so he could swear and all that stuff. It was fantastic.
Love this.
Yeah.
Look at his feet there.
Well, that in some corners is considered pipe.
Oh. But now they're going to have to create some goddamn pill that makes women aroused at the sight of a fucking 70-year-old dude with a super hard cock. You know what I'm saying?
I truncated this, guys, and believe me, it's about as short as I can make it and still retain all the context. But it was one of the best talk show appearances you'll ever fucking see.
This is Viagra. It's insane. And you know what it's for? Impotent people. All right, It's for impotent guys. So get this. I read this. The pill can make your cock hard for 4 hours.
Right.
So now, who has the 4-hour hard cock? The impotent guy. The rest of us are fucked. Me and you got our regular cocks. Meanwhile, fucking Spade is,
all of a sudden it's a roast.
Spade looks like he could be a fucking sister on Full House.
He's so much younger, man. The age is a bitch.
He looks like he's a part of the Tanner family.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it coming.
Dude, I know you didn't. He brought it all around and then a vicious rip kick into his best friend's gut.
Once there's too much cock talk, I try to just zone out for a minute until it goes back the other way.
If there's too much cock talk, this guy has fevered nightmares all night. Dreams, I mean, like sweaty, fevered dreams from the cock talk that's been all over his head. Cock.
Why bury me?
Norm
Only Norm.
Yeah, he was fucking fearless. That's what I loved about him. He could go ahead with any joke. There's so many clips of him. There's so much of him on the fucking cutting room floor in movies. But then when you get to the talk show appearances, he might be top 5 talk show appearance guests of all time. Any show.
Oh my God! And movie cameos.
Yeah.
Twice. He's killing me.
No, he's a good man.
That erased it. All right.
No, he's a good man.
Who cares?
After all that, that's the whiteout he puts on.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome.
After he talks about you doing chin-ups on cock for 18 minutes. No, he's a good guy.
If you're gay, he's a completely straight guy. He gets a lot of ladies. You know that about him with the ladies.
Don't say ladies.
Women, girls.
Okay, thank you. Ladies, what are we, fucking on an FM station here?
He's Don Cornelius.
But he's gay.
It's true. Ladies is such a dated term. It's such a no one says that.
Guys, man, I was reading. You know about that.
These gay guys.
I haven't even said hi yet. All right. Tell me what it is with these gay guys.
I know, I'm already.
I just read this thing about the George Michael.
A lot, aren't you?
Yeah, I got a little time off. Now I read the newspaper. And this really strikes me about the gay community. I don't know if they're a community, but
called West Hollywood.
Yeah, they're gay, and it's George Michaels. He hangs around the bathroom. He has sex with multiple guys. This is
no way. You got to get it right. Hangs around the bathroom,
right.
And it was described as a lewd behavior, but I don't remember sex with numerous guys.
Well,
is that what you took away from it?
What does he do?
What were you, in the next stall?
I could have been just having a nice bathroom regular thing.
I don't know what lewd behavior is, but I don't know that he was in there with numerous guys. But
this
anyway,
is
go ahead. We get the gist of it.
This is definitely a gay thing, like, because this is a pop superstar. You know what I mean? You're not going to walk into a bathroom and all of a sudden Farrah Fawcett's like, you know? You're not going to...
What? Love it.
What I'm saying is, why would a famous...
What was she doing? What was that? Some sort of...
Oh, my God.
Belt sander thing, or what was that?
Oh, my God, how times have changed. Oh, my God, how times have changed.
I mean,
now it's like literally,
Did you get a stroke?
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Okay, so the next thing.
Somebody needs to feed me some oatmeal.
Okay, this is him with I love that he can hang with just about everybody. So this is him on Larry King, and he had Larry King read jokes that were directed for him. Let's see if I can get this. Hold on.
That's funny.
Larry, you like this one?
Wasn't too bad. Amanda Bynes is a lush blonde who's quickly turning into a blonde lush. See, I tend to laugh at my own. When I read a joke that's funny, I love jokes.
That's good to laugh. What about this? This is what you were talking about earlier, 42.
I love the movie 42. It's Chadwick Boseman like you've never seen him before. You've never seen him before. I get that.
Yeah, man. Sure, you want to do a joke?
Yeah, sure, let's do jokes.
Don't be dirty, because Larry King's there.
All right. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, says the guy who didn't shove a bunch of Reese's up his ass.
I just asked you. If you're looking for your porn star name, have you ever heard of this, where people make up porn star names? They take their childhood pet's name, and then they combine it with the street name. So anyways, mine would be Dick Fuckington. I lived on Fuckington Pleasant. But none of this would be on the Hulu show we're doing, Larry.
No.
Why are these dirty? This is a great one for you, Larry.
I got a funny joke.
It's newsy.
If you were a Russian prostitute on a date with serial killer Andrei Chikatilo, a.k.a. the Rostov Ripper, and he couldn't achieve an erection, that was not your lucky day.
No.
The Al-Qaeda online magazine Inspire has a recipe for a homemade bomb. They also have a recipe for a pretty darn good peach cobbler.
They're not all bad, you know?
I crack up when I see a funny joke and I hear it.
Well, how about this? College freshman Scott Damerow, Larry, set a new world record by using his head to bust 142 eggs, and he now officially holds a place in the Guinness Book of fucking retards. Oh, it's ridiculous.
See, Larry King loved him. He could hang with him at any time, like all ages. Like certain people just loved him, and I think Wig, like I said, Wig was loath to give any kind of real dig against Norm because that he would get some blowback because almost everybody loved Norm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, much better. So you need to take a breather.
Oh, that was really good. You know what? So, one of my favorite lines from Billy Madison, just as an aside, he goes, he's at the pool, and he goes, man, why did I have so many drinks? I can't remember. What's today? And Frank, who's Macdonald, goes, October?
Billy Madison, I got to rewatch that.
And Billy goes, it's Nudie Magazine Day.
I forgot, was Billy Madison R-rated or was it like PG?
PG-13.
It was? Okay.
That's why you get to go. That's why we got to go see it. It was just like, yay.
Yeah.
So there's only like, a little bit of tit.
Well, the thing is, like, Dirty Work. I remember the Dirty Work was just we're not going to play any of it because there's loads of great clips online, and they all already Chevy, Norm, they all said, this is an R-rated film. Do not make them fucking change it because they're going to want to make it PG-13. And it was right before Something About Mary, and Something About Mary blew the roof off. Like, you know, that line when Matt Damon goes, I work with retards. You know, that became such a monster hit. And that came out after Dirty Work, and had they done it to Dirty Work, it might have been way bigger, but they toned it down. And a PG comedy is never going to hit as hard as a fucking hard R.
Dirty Work could have been the best.
It really could have. And they were actually thinking of doing a sequel, which was kind of cool, but I don't know how they could figure it out. I'm sure it wouldn't be very good, but if the right writing, it's too late for that. So we're going to play a little more. This is from the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and we're going to contrast the one that Wiggy did later another time. That one deserves our full fucking our complete focused attention. But this is him with talking about Cosby.
Now, do you think Cosby's legacy will be hurt?
Yeah.
You do, huh? I mean, there was a comedian, Patton Oswalt, he told me, I think the worst part of the Cosby thing was the hypocrisy. And I disagreed.
You disagree with that?
Yeah. I thought it was the raping. That's my feeling. Most rapists are hypocrites. You don't meet many go, I like raping, and I know it's not politically correct, but by God, people go, well, he's not being a hypocrite, and that's the worst part.
Yep. And that's the punch. That's the punch between the eyes. Norm did not fuck around. That's why. That's the best thing about him, and I love that so much about him. And that's where all comics across every Twitter sphere, across every, I don't care where you lay in your political alliances, you are going to get knocked right between the eyes. Because he doesn't fuck around.
No, he took no prisoners. And the one time he had to apologize, he was on Stern's show and he made the comment about Down syndrome. It was at a time, I'm sure he did not expect it happening, the blowback, because I think he was also doing the sports show at the time. And so he lost the gig, and he loses all these gigs, but he never cared about losing any of them. He really just didn't give a fuck because he knew he could always go back and do stand-up. And his dream was always just to get on Letterman. And Letterman fucking loved him. Next clip I'm going to play after this.
Yes, he did.
We're going to play the Kojak bit from Seinfeld as well, because that was such a fucking unbelievable. You know, when you've got Jerry Seinfeld doubled over, you're talking to a comic's comic.
I watch old TV shows.
Yeah.
And it was the first Kojak. You remember Kojak?
Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
With the lollipop.
Yeah, he had the lollipop going. So for the pilot, it was Crocker's first day. You know, Kevin Dobson played Crocker.
Sure, Crocker.
So he was just out of police academy. Green. They kept saying how green he was. Kojak had been around a long time. He knew everything. So he's, has this green kid, and he doesn't know if he wants to be working with him. So what was happening was prostitutes were being murdered.
Oh, my.
He goes, go down and try to get some information from the prostitute's mother. So a little while later, Crocker comes back. I talked to her mother. She wasn't a prostitute at all. She was a good girl. Yeah. So Kojak's seen it all, right? So he takes this lollipop. He goes, yep, she was a good girl. Mama's apple pie. The 4th of July. She was a hooker! Crocker was too green to see it,
But anyway, this was an infamous appearance where Courtney Thorne-Smith, who was unbelievably hot, not my type, but really, really sexy, she was on Melrose Place, and she was doing a film with Carrot Top. And then Norm's on, he was the first guest, I think. And then I've reversed it, obviously, it just looks weird. And you can see how Conan is so fucking uncomfortable back then.
Well, I have to say, so Conan, So I had boy cousins, and we would obviously hang out all the time and have sleepovers. And they had friends who, one of them was clearly hyperactive ADHD.
Yeah.
And we'd always go to Cedar Point. We'd travel to Cedar Point every summer. And I remember one of the things we would do when we go to bed, we'd watch Conan O'Brien. And this kid loved Conan O'Brien. So Conan O'Brien became part of like my childhood, because then I started liking Conan O'Brien from this kid, Nick Fallhaber, watching Conan O'Brien. He got me into it.
Yeah.
And I really loved Conan. And I remember the awkwardness of Conan O'Brien in just this kind of almost autistic, but really oddity of him and his humor. But at this time, I remember how he was with women and how he was even as a kid. I just remember him, the way he was with people, and awkward. I remember feeling as a like a young teenager, I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the awkwardness. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the oddness of him so much.
It was a weird combination because you had Letterman, who was this assured, well, he wasn't actually. He's quite insecure, but annoyingly arrogant kind of ass. Then Leno, who was sort of, everybody's everybody's included in this, and especially the old people, and a little middle of the road. And then you had this guy who would also, but then you had Kinnear. It was a weird landscape late night at that time. And but
love Conan.
But the reason why I tuned into Conan mostly, and I wasn't a fan, but I preferred the, like you said, the awkwardness, the stiltedness, the nature of it. Just seemed so odd that I was strangely fascinating, like a train wreck or whatever. You just can't. And sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. Dice did an infamous appearance in which he was nervous. Conan was nervous. Then he does an impromptu Elvis impression with the band. And that could never happen most of the time with those other shows. It just couldn't.
Quit making out.
All right.
It's like 9.5 weeks, but Carrot Top. we were doing.
Wow! I gotta check out that movie.
Is it called 9.5 Seconds? It's like he's premature ejaculating.
You know what happened? This is what happened. You know what happened? He said 9.5 seconds, and I'm looking at him because I know there's more. And I wait, and I see the glimmer in the eye, and then bang! I thought you were going to crack whore, but no. But what's the movie going to be called?
Well,
really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
Like, imagine shitting on the guest next to you, basically, inadvertently. One thing you noticed also, like, this is what you take for granted when you go along all these years and you watch these shows. No one slid in and out of silence like Carson did. Nobody. He never let the silence bother him. But you can tell with Conan, when there's a lull, he's just in fear of his life. Like most comics, you can't wait for the next laugh. Guys like Dice are like, they didn't care. They'll get to the joke in their own time.
You could tell during the moth bit when Norm was on, he said, well, how long was your drive from the valley? He had to like crash in on that. I mean, it worked in that case, but he was worried about the silence. He was worried about it. He couldn't handle it. He just had that, that reflexive, like,
are we going somewhere? Let's get somewhere fast. Yeah, get to the next bit. Give me. Can't deal with silence.
He played it well for a little bit, but he can't play it for. He can't do it for too long.
No.
She's in it.
What about my career?
Courtney Thorne Smith, the girl sitting to your left, is in the movie.
I'm going to go see it for
After you steer everybody else away?
No, I love this girl. I would see any movie with this girl in it. She's a beautiful lady and a talented, nice talk show guest.
Appearance on our rival show. All right. Well, there's this 2-hour season finale of Melrose Place. There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh. All right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
And I gotta say, she handles it so professionally. She's laughing, like you could tell she's such a good sport. A lot of people could not. They would fucking brutal. They would hate Norm forever for doing this.
I would have been slapping him up, high-fiving. I would have been right with him. Fuck you.
The next clip, guys, we're gonna. It's a truncated. She's already laughing.
You're gonna feel more stuff tonight. It's
What?
Kill me.
Well, most people in the entertainment industry, that's their goal, to please the audience, but also like I love the fact that this is censored, but I think it's almost funnier that it's censored. I just wish they'd put a beep in or something. They told the story on Stern, but even this Letterman's dying fucking laughing because he just loves Norm.
Like you do like facial exercises, I guess, like you can if you want to. I don't know. People do.
Yeah,
I feel like I must have done 7,000 tonight. Holy shit! My whole face is so.
Well, this will put you to sleep. So let's go into this. Is Letterman doing the Euchre story, but on this is Norm doing it on Letterman, censored, but it's still good.
Tremendous stories about the great Bob Euchre. Now, do you have a story you can tell us about Bob Euchre? Voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Bob Euchre is one of my best friends. He's a great man. I know Artie told a story when he was here, and Bob was not too thrilled with that. But
it's Artie Lang you're talking about.
Artie Lang, yeah. But Bob is a very, very funny man, and I often go in the booth with him,
Oh, sure.
So one time we were there.
Now I'm going to cut it up, guys, just in case, because Letterman stuff's a little different, and I'm going to alter it, what have you. But he explained ages ago that he got invited to sit at the booth with he'd been friends with Euchre since Dirty Work or so. I don't remember if he was in Dirty Work. I can't remember, but he had to do a commercial with Euchre. I think that was the thing, and that's where they became friends. And I just love those Euchre impressions. And we're gonna play another one a little later.
And John Fogerty was in the audience. Fortunate son. So John Fogerty was there. So Bob Euchre is a very interesting guy. He thinks of everybody as the same. He doesn't think of people as stars or anything like that. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So he was talking to me. He says, "Hey, man, you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's John Fogerty, rock and roll singer." So I go, yeah, I know who it is. He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "But I played in a golf tournament with him." He goes, "You probably think of him as some that likes to bite the heads off of chickens, but..."
You're fucking filling it in for him.
This guy can...
That's exactly how I think of him.
This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business. So he goes, he's got a hell of a set of pipes on him. He goes, come the seventh inning stretch, I'll have him up here. He'll sing for you.
You can find the uncensored version with him on Stern, but this one's, I think, funnier.
I said, no, Bob, don't do that. Don't have him come up and sing for me, please, He goes, "What's the matter, man? Don't you even know who he is?" He got all mad. So I go, "Yes, Bob, I know who he is. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival." Yeah. He goes, "Yeah, he did all that."
Yeah, he did all that fucking shit. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find the exact. Okay, the bag's on you. This is a story that Norm and Artie are telling on Stern when they talked about Cleat Boyer or somebody, some baseball guy, and some prank that was being played with Sinatra and stuff. Hold on.
The second part is he goes, so anyway, Ken Boyer goes the fuck out to Los Angeles to play the fucking Dodgers. And Drysdale's like, "I'm going to get this fucker back." So Drysdale calls Frank Sinatra and says, "Let's fucking get this fucker. He tried to fucking have me arrested." So Sinatra says, "No fucking problem." Sinatra sends over a couple of goons, and Ken Boyer's leaving the stadium. He's in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium. Two guys fucking just grab him and just fucking mask him up, throw him in the trunk of their car, take him out to the fucking desert. And they pick him out of the fucking trunk.
I love off when the two of them are together.
They put him on his knees in the fucking desert. They put a gun to his fucking ear, and they go, "We're gonna fucking kill you. You're fucking dead."
He's bleeding for his fucking life.
This fucking guy's he's crying like a little fag, and he's saying, "Come on,
he's about to get killed.
Please don't fucking kill me. What did I do?" He goes, "You fuck with the wrong fucker. We're friends with Drysdale. We're with Sinatra. We're gonna fucking kill you." And he's in the desert screaming and yelling. And then finally, after about 10 minutes, we're fucking with you. The bag's on you. The bag's on you, motherfucker. And we took him back. We were friends with him forever from then on.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the mob.
No,
This
not
is no joke.
Just don't. There's so many fucking good bits. We only have a few more, guys. This is when he decided he was gonna he was on Stern and he decided to talk about Florida swingers, and knowing what we know about Caitlyn and the OnlyFans shit with Brent, and it's just funnier as a result. So he's talking about Florida swingers.
Yeah, there is a lot of coke there, but you're right. People are rich, and you don't know why. Like they're just in your face. With
so a guy picks me up. He's a limo driver, and he's like, fucking guy goes, yeah. He goes, I can take you any place, man. Anything you want. I go, what? He goes, anything you want. He goes, I got my wife. I go, your wife? Like, I thought he was talking about like drugs or something. He starts with his wife.
He could take you to his wife.
He's got his wife.
Okay, just a little more.
I can get anything I want, and then he goes, my wife.
Don't you want his wife?
Was he offering you his wife?
I don't fucking know. But it was all weekend long. I just meet 4 or 5 guys, and they go, hey, so this is the wife, and this is the other wife, and how about the 8 of us?
Oh, yeah?
Well, they wouldn't say it right out, but you kind of go, what are you talking about? Why are
these guys trying to deal you their wives?
No, they all want to swing.
No, you want to wait the fuck. You don't really know what the...
I love how Howard's just derailing the whole thing by being such a fucking ignorant idiot. Yeah, just awful.
Fuck's going on? 'Cause they don't come right out and say they want to fuck you.
Well, why does everyone want to swing with you, do you think? I mean,
not me, anyone.
No, I've gone deeper into the conversation than Norm did with these people because it's fascinating and I wanted drugs. But they'll tell you eventually, like, look, there's me and this is my wife and this is her friend Nancy and this is my friend Ed, and we'll get some ecstasy.
Ed's where it becomes problematic.
Nancy was fine.
Yeah, everything's going good. All of a sudden, Ed, what the fuck?
And Nancy's usually 46.
Who the fuck is Earl? Who the fuck was this guy? Nobody told me about a guy come out of a closet whacking off with his half-hard cock. Where the fuck did he come from?
Things were going really well in the fantasy. You, Nancy, and Shirley, and suddenly Earl walks in.
Yeah, what the fuck? You never told me. And then they're like, well, if we brought it up, we thought you'd say no. Of course I'd fucking say no.
Earl was an afterthought.
Sorry, I love when he does the little impressions. Go ahead.
I love it. Can we play
the ESPYs?
The ESPYs, and then is there anything we have from do we have the Hitler thing where we like take over the world?
I think I can get it. I'm sure. One sec. Let's set this up first. Okay.
I want to do that one because that one's so funny.
Next one, guys, we're going to play a little bit from the ESPYs where he goes all in on OJ. It's one of the best fucking appearances on a stage I've ever seen in my life, and only Norm would have the balls to do this.
And listen, this is from a time. So let me set the stage here.
Yeah.
We're talking about OJ got off of a double murder, which he clearly killed 2 people.
Right.
I mean, clearly killed 2 people.
This is before he wrote a book.
And
If I Did It.
And he, in civil trial, lost.
Yeah.
And got convicted of it. So Norm Macdonald did an amazing job at just ramming this down people's throats of what a fucking savage O.J. Simpson is. And at the ESPYs, he just was amazing.
Yeah. Well, he was basically talking the truth, and all the best comics do tell the truth and are truthful in the exposition of the joke. So either way, it's one of a million other things that he's done on stage that just killed me.
Great, Nanny.
He became the first defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. And congratulations, Charles. That is something that no one can ever take away from you. Unless you kill your wife and a waiter, in which case... all bets are off. Just a word of advice.
I hated the fact that the NFL players, when confronted with this, would always be like, "Oh, you went too low. You're lower than the murderer." It's like your joke is more offensive than the murderer.
There is one country that worries me, though. Not Iraq, not Iran, not North Korea. The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but... in the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world. It's never been tried before.
Jesus H.
And so you figure that would take about 5 seconds for the world to win, but no, it was actually close. Then about 30 years pass, and Germany decides again to go to war, and again it chooses as its enemy the world.
It's great. Just such a delivery. It's all in the delivery.
And this time I have that guy, Scrankly, Crankly, that guy, and I'm not even going to dignify him by saying his name, but I think you know what I'm talking. But you think at that point the world will go, listen, Germany, here's the deal. You don't get to be a country no more on account of you keep attacking the world. You know,
Sorry, guys, a little bit.
What do you think, you're on Mars or something?
It's just so fucking hilarious.
Okay, so there's a couple more clips, and then we're going to try to get through this. This one's about, this was on Stern, and it was about recovered memory.
About recovered memory. This is what I don't like about recovered memory, right?
Go ahead.
Is that you repress the memory of this horrible sexual thing that happened to you when you were young. You repress it so you can no longer, you can't remember it.
That's
it's too
true.
traumatic.
Yes.
So, the upshot of it is this. I can tell you that I was not raped when I was a child. But I can tell you with no insurance at all.
You might have been.
Yeah, and forgotten it. 50-50 shot of it. Now, I believe personally that it's a myth.
Okay, hold on, guys.
I think that I would remember it. I think that, first of all, if I didn't, I would never want to recover it. If this did happen to me, I would want to go to the grave with it unrecovered. But I feel that this would not slip my mind. You know what I mean? I believe it would be the only fucking thing I would remember.
You could possibly not bury getting fucked in the ass as a young man.
I would probably fucking forget every other memory.
You remember that more than like Joe Carter's Homer in the 90s?
Yeah, no, I can't.
Okay, hold on. Go with me. Bear with me, guys. It's rough.
I remember that. What? Hey, what about the hypotenuse? I don't remember. Don't you remember when you went to school? I went to school? What? What do you remember? I remember my uncle's cock. His giant cock. He
It's so right.
My uncle probably didn't have a giant cock. But you know, when you're young, you think everything's bigger. Like,
That's true.
You return to your school and it seems small. It's like if I returned to my uncle's cock.
You want to know what kills me is Robin's laughter.
Yeah.
No, I just got shot in the back of the fucking head like JFK. Robin's fucking laughter.
Yeah.
And who knows what that fucking shot was from? We can all speculate.
Yeah.
But that goddamn fucking laughter from her, like a hyena, when
He's bringing up something incredible. It should be,
and you are laughing like you're not traumatized.
That's right. The next clip, guys, is from the Stern Show, and I got this. Unfortunately, it was a screen cap. It wasn't the greatest audio quality, but I hope you don't mind the little bit of echo. And this is Norm's fag test.
If you return $90 million.
But it wasn't logical what I just said. Ralph, go ahead.
So I'm at dinner with Norm once, or lunch or something. We're at a big table.
What?
So-
Wait. Norm's
What's that?
bag test had to do with Ralph?
Just listen to it.
People sitting around, and Norm puts his hand on my leg, not rubbing my leg or anything, just puts his hand on my leg. And I don't know, like it was weird, but Norm's a weird guy. I don't know, like maybe he's fucked up. I don't know. His hand was just like on my leg.
You didn't knock it away, did you?
And then 5 minutes later, Norm goes, "Hey, Ralph is a fag. I had my hand on his leg. And he hasn't moved."
That's how I test people.
You test?
I
So
test
don't believe
people.
Ralph is gay.
I test people to find out if they're fags, and that's one of my tests. Can you imagine letting a fucking dude grab your leg for 5 minutes?
You mean Ralph didn't say anything?
Not a fucking word.
Ralph, you're gay.
Fag for grabbing my leg?
No.
I'm surprised Ralph wasn't letting him jerk him off in the bathroom and give him some ecstasy and a blowjob.
Oh no! Well, Ralph's an open hole for anybody with big enough pockets. We know this from his own mouth.
I mean, a glory hole for anyone.
Yeah.
You are a genius. I really mean that. You might be the greatest genius of all time. You were the only one who figured out that Ralph really is gay. Why wouldn't you make Ralph? Why wouldn't you make Norm remove his hand?
Yeah, so what do you think?
What?
I don't know. I found it funny. I didn't know.
And if he grabbed your cock, would that have been fun?
I've been giving Ralph a hand job for 20 minutes.
That was later.
Artie looks like the shoe bomber.
Oh,
Poor Artie. I feel so bad for him. He looks like the shoe bomber that just needs a Twinkie.
yeah. It's anyway, guys. I think there's only one other clip. I'll see if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, this is a story
Why?
that.
I'm having so much fun.
Okay, one more clip, and then we're gonna play the last bit of Letterman because we think it's a nice, touching.
Oh
moment
yeah,
to
I
him.
wanna.
Yeah. So this is our Norm and Artie on Red Fox because they had Bob Einstein on Norm's show, and he actually, he's Super Dave. It's a great story.
Yeah. And he was the director or the producer of Red Fox's variety show after Sanford and Son. So the Red Fox would always be late to come out and do his monologue. Like, the audience is waiting there. So it was always Bob Einstein's job to go get him. So he goes back into the dressing room and he's knocking. He goes, "Red, you're on, man. You're on." And nothing happens and the door swings open. Red Fox, he looks over. Red Fox has got there's a whore in there.
Okay, already it's a good story.
Red Fox has his head under the whore's skirt and he's got his face buried in her ass. And there's lines of coke all over the fucking the fucking table. And Einstein goes, "Red, are you done? Because you gotta do this. You're late." And he said, Red Fox took his face out of the chick's ass and goes, "Can a fella relax?"
Oh.
Oh my fucking Lord.
I'm so.
Red was something else.
God. Wow.
Hold on.
Fella's really relaxed from that?
I guess. Hold on for a second. Let me get this queued up. One of my favorite Red Fox jokes was because he used to invert stuff. He goes, "What's the difference between a peeping Tom and a pickpocket?"
What?
A pickpocket snatches watches. Tell that to your daddy. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Thank you.
Folks, this will be my last time on the David Letterman show, I understand. And you guys, we all know that David Letterman was the greatest talk show host who ever lived. But I remember Dave differently because the first time I saw him, I was 13 years old. I was living in... I was living in Toronto, Canada, and I went to a talk show they had there. And David Letterman was the stand-up comedian on the show. And I loved stand-up. And David Letterman did this joke that I told everybody this joke. I love this joke. It still stays with me as my favorite stand-up joke ever. So I'd like to do it for you if you'd like to hear it. He goes, I was on the street the other day, and I saw a garbage truck, and on the back of the garbage truck, there was a small sign that said, "Please do not follow too closely." Another of life's simple pleasures ruined by a meddling bureaucracy, ladies and gentlemen. You remember the old days when Dad would pile the kids in the station wagon and we'd all go out and follow a garbage truck? So anyways, I'd just like to say, I know that Mr. Letterman is not for the mawkish, and he has no truck for the sentimental, but if something is true, it is not sentimental, and I say in truth, I love you. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Norm. Norm. Oh, my God.
Very funny, Norm. And thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Norm Macdonald, ladies and gentlemen. That was very sweet, Norm. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, rest in peace, Norm.
Could Letterman be any colder?
Yeah, exactly. It's wasted on him, but I know he appreciated it, I'm sure, on some level.
I'm sure on some level. I honestly have to say that is just the most touching thing when you can concretely just pull a thread from your career, from the point you start, and you find something so interesting as a joke like that, thread it along, and you're standing on the stage and you're honoring a man you respect so much. Yeah. And you honor him back, and you say that joke back.
Yeah.
That is such an incredible feat. And to have such emotion back to that at such a level that is such a triumphant, absolute
bookend
joy and beautiful joy. Like, that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I think, guys, if you want to see more of Norm's heart as opposed to his comedy, there's a good Twitter exchange. Not a Twitter exchange, but it's him telling a story, I think of Memorial Day or Remembrance Day for Canadians. And he just went through a serious story, but on Twitter, back when it was less than 180 characters or whatever. It's way longer now than it used to be, but he had to go bit by bit. And it's an amazing thing. Hopefully somebody has archived it, but I think you can find all of his old tweets. At any rate, guys, we hope you enjoyed this. We loved it. We love him. We miss him. And we hope you all got some enjoyment out of this one as well. So rest in peace, Norm.
I think he was a beautiful human being. I think he made a lot of sense in the world. I think he was smart. I think he was articulate. Yeah. I think he was incredible. I think he will go down as one of the most articulate, smart, and prolific comics in this generation, and then some.
Yeah, he won't be replaced anytime soon. So, guys, thank you from QF, from Sam and I. We bid you adieu, and to Norm and his family, to Norm's family rather. And
we love you.
Yeah, may his memory be eternal. We love you guys. Take care.